There you are, my little pheasant pluckers. How are you doing? Well, here's Tony, still in the studio. Oh my God, I've got this amp still in front of me. That's another story we'll come back to another time. But what is important is, these things. I've got one off camera. There they are. Tubes or valves. Now, it's a widely discussed aspect of guitar playing that the guitar amps with the tubes are on the way out. Well, that could be true, but is it? We all know about the simulators or modelers. We'll call them what you will, and they've all got different brand names and they're all basically doing the same thing. They're all trying to simulate exactly one of these. Or, well, there's 6 there and 3 something else's. Don't worry about it. This is the sound of the gods. This is where it came from. Yeah, some people would argue it goes all the way back to the 50s or 40s, well, whenever it was. But people like me, I'd be saying, well, from about the first quarter of the 60s onwards, these things ruled the world. So what's this darn video about? Well, it's not about this amp. And it's not actually about the tube itself. There's an inherent problem. And that problem is, well, there's a tube. How do you know it's a good one or a bad one? Or has it got problems? Does it mismatch with the others? Who knows? Well, there is only really one proper way to tell, and that is with a tube tester. Yeah, tube tester. Now, you've got a number of routes for that. Trust me, it's all going to move on in a minute. But you've got a number of routes to test this out. Yeah, you can go down the old-fashioned route, getting the old tube testers. You can buy them. You'll see them kicking around on eBay and lots of other places. Or boot sales even, if you look hard enough. Yeah, well, all that's good, but what's the problem with them? Well, the problem with them really is that, first of all, are they reliable? Do you know you're buying an archaic old tube tester, like me, that is unreliable? Yeah, it might fail. And if it fails, but tells you this is all good, and you bung them in, well, you can actually do the amp in, believe it or not. So that's a problem. But there are people around that have made more modern, shall we say, tube testers. Let's call them that for the moment. But all this is going to move out the way, and I'm going to show you something that's really current today. It might not be current in 10 years, although looking at some of his old projects, actually, yeah, there's a version 3 Plus that I think went for 13 years before an upgrade. Wow, that's better. It's all gone. Or has it? Oh no, it hasn't. Of course not. Tube amps are everywhere. And whether you agree with that or you don't agree with that, don't worry about any of that. I don't. I've got both types of products in the studio. And yeah, they're all good they all have their own uses, don't they? So before you start hacking at me, Tony doesn't know what he's at. Well, there's still a lot of guitarists that actually play tube amps all the time. And famous ones too. That's another story. So what have we got here today? Well, this thing doesn't look much, does it? Well, I can tell you now, this is a tube tester. And it's called a Microtracer NXT, but it's not actually shown like that. Actually, it's down there below you. That's how it's shown, and it's got a website. Now, the website might the website might drive you a little bit away from here, but don't go away. Let's have a look at this. This is a kit, and we're going to have a look at it and see what it's all sort of made of. And will I even be able to complete this and make it work? Well, maybe not, because this is not a basic sort of kit for, a 5-year-old. This thing, yeah, can do a lot. So, needless to say, It's freshly developed by the man, who we'll maybe talk about and find more information about him, a guy named Donald. But that's enough for him, at least for now. And yeah, I've got a few notes somewhere, because there is a lot of stuff. Where am I? Yeah, his website, just before we go any further, is, well, it's there below, DOSforever.com. Now, he's got lots and lots of projects, not just this thing. I mean, honestly, many tens of projects, if not hundreds. I haven't checked them all. There's just far too much for me to even look at. So, you do get a construction manual, and there's the first page. Well, you'll probably see it on screen. I mean, it's showing you the PCB, built and designed, and raring to go as a tube tester. Yeah, it looks very good. This is the construction manual. And there's his email, ronald@dosforever.com. And he's the man if you've got any problems. And by the way, before we go 1 ounce further, I bought this at full retail price. I didn't go and beg for some board or something. Oh no, I bought it because, well, I'll give you a little bit of story because it's all important to the cause, right? I sold an amp not that long ago. I'd done these mods on it and put another board in and all that sort of stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. It was all looking good. And yeah, well, basically, well, it didn't work when it got there. Anyway, cutting a long story short, I had it back. I give him his money back and I said, well, give me the amp, let me look. And it turned out there was nothing that I'd done. It turned out that the fault was actually a tube. And this is the very tube. This one says Marshall ER34, valve 9105. Anyway, whatever it says, wherever it is, I know it's faulty because I changed the tubes. It was fine. I changed one back. This one, it'll stopped again. So that there is a dodgy, faulty tube. But I had no easy means of testing tubes. I've got a whole box full in there, which led me down the road of the Microtracer NXT. Yeah, so that's the story. There's lots of stuff to go through. If I don't even complete it and it doesn't work for me, don't mean it couldn't work for you. I'm not an electronics engineer by any means. But I'm going to have a go at this. So what we're going to do now is whip this out, show you what you get, and then move forward from there on this project. This is a great project for anybody who's got tube amps. Okay, so let's open this thing and see what you've got. There's a pile of stuff in it. By the way, I've never really had this out yet. But there's a lot of stuff in here. Still there. So let's pull it all out. Yeah. Okay, well, what do you really get? Well, first of all, you get a very nice card. Thank you and good luck from Ronald and Marie. I can't read the second word for the name, but don't worry, DOS forever. And there's your card from the Netherlands. So there, that's where it comes from. Well, what else do you get? You get little bags of bits that most people are used to that build kits. My utracers, these are supplied, by the way, so that you can modify the standard Microtracer NXT with these. They just throw them in there and you can do the work if you want to. Thought that was interesting. 150 nanofarads, 8 times. Well, you've got a loads of stuff in there. Yeah. What's this one? VO618 times 1. I don't even know what that is, but yeah. Oh yeah, lots of diodes and stuff like that. All looks good. You've got some programming on this chip. And this is part of what I guess Ronald's good at. Yeah, it's all there. Got some more. Looks like it's just a bag of resistors. And of course you've got the main board. Oh, let's have a quick look at that a bit closer up than where we're at the moment. Okay, well, we're just taking a quick look here for the quality of the board, in fact. Nothing else, you know. It's just how it comes. And you can see, you've got lots of little chips already pre-soldered on there. Lots of little different things. Good. It makes it easier for somebody like me to get everything wrong and it never works. But there you go. If I make it work, good. And if I don't, it's no reflection on the board or the kit. It's a reflection on Tony, and I have limits. Anyway, there's the side of the board. And we can turn it over and have a look at the other side. Yeah, which looks just as good as that side, as the first side, doesn't it? Oops. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Very nicely through-plated holes and stuff like that. You might disagree, being one of the experts that some people are. But to me, that's a really nice board, well made, and yeah, well worth the money. Yeah, so there. And just before I do go away, this is a diagram of the Microtracer NXT V3. You can see it there. We've got another couple of bits on the back, which we're going to have a quick look at. And there you go. That's telling you all about the IC and that sort of stuff. Yeah, all looks good to me. And lastly, that's a quick shot of the Microtracer NXT construction manual. As you can see, version 1. And there are a few updates to put on that Ronald and his team sent through. So we'll be updating that accordingly. Yeah, they did send me an email through with a few fixes for the manual. And this is a pretty comprehensive manual, by the way. I can't show you every page, of course I can't. Well, I could, but I'm not going to. But it takes you through the installation, literally from nothing to completed board. And if you're like me, I mean, I'm not the expert that some people think I am. I mean, I'm okay, but I'm not the expert, let's put it that way. And probably neither are you. If you're like me, well, I'd love to have a decent tube tester. And this is a very flexible one because it can do a lot of stuff. It's got a lot of features with it that a lot of testers struggle with a little bit, with the voltages and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm not going to go into any great depth of the thing. You want to really go to the website, you know, DOSforever.com, and go and have a look for Microtracer NXT. That's how it is. And have a look for yourself, figure it out for yourself. It's really, it's fun. If you like torture, you're not really an electronics guy like me, well, it's still fun. And this thing cost me about £220, by the way. I just wanted to say that. That's the sort of price. Although you got to pay them in funny money, you know, European euros. Yeah, well, I still did it. I didn't get a great exchange rate, but they like that, aren't they, exchange rate people? Okay, well, when it comes down to the construction, on the manual, you've got loads of safety things and bits of advice and stuff like that. But actually, part 1 starts off with COM port installation if needed. Well, I'm going to install that, but I'm not going to install it first because I don't think I need to. I can come back and do that a bit later. Oh, I think I can. So then it moves on, part 2, the GUI, or the graphical user interface, uTracer 3 GUI. I come back to all of that. Well, I think I can. Maybe I'm wrong. The GUI testing and all the rest of it. And then we come to part 3, the RS232 connector cable, and testing that cable. Well, again, I'm going to come back to that a bit later. I'm going to turn over and start on part 4. And part 4 is the plus 5 volt power supply construction. There it is, down there on the page. And yeah, it's still a bit more of it there. And you can put your voltages in there and check this and check that. So what I'm going to do, first of all, let's have a look where it ends. Yeah, part 4 ends on these 2 pages. So I'm going to go and do that, and I'll be back. Yeah, you don't want to see me sitting here soldering all day, do you? No, we want to get the video done. Well, this is really the end of part 1. I'm going to build this up in stages. But for this first video, as an introduction, I think go and have a look at the DOSforever.com website. The Microtracer NXT is an interesting project to look at. Make no mistake of that. And you should be looking at it if you've got any association with tubes and tube amps at all. It's a very useful piece of gear, something you probably don't have. So until next time, don't forget to do that thumbs up thing, because I don't know how many people will be even looking at this, because it's a bit specialised, but it's probably worth the effort, if you know what I mean. It's not really that expensive if you can bear in mind what it can do. So thumbs up, do that, subscribe, and ring that bell and all the rest of that stuff that drives you mad sometimes. And I'll see you in part 2. But do follow the project through and see how I go on. I'm no different than you are, am I? No. Now get out of here.